What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So a question I get quite a bit is how hard will it be to find a PlayStation 5 this holiday, as we assume it'll probably launch November, and then, you go into December and holidays and buying it up would be pretty difficult. Well, it looks like Sony might be working to maybe alleviate some of the shortages that we all assume will take place, as they appear to be going big with production leading up to that launch. We're going to talk about that. And we keep talking about how there's this buildup for some sort of Nintendo event, a direct, maybe a mini, some sort of themed direct. Well, it looks like more and more evidence continues to mount around that idea, and July 20th is coming up, so we'll take a look at what could be happening here maybe next week. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton, and if you're brand new here, hit the red subscribe button down below as we head towards 500,000 subscribers. And we're going to start today with PES 2021 and PES 2022. Now, that's Pro Evolution Soccer. It's been around for a long time. In fact, I remember years ago, maybe even decades ago at this point, I would prefer that to FIFA, but FIFA was always the soccer football game that was just in the mainstream. People always talked about FIFA, rarely talked about Pro Evolution Soccer. Well, it looks like Konami is going to be changing the engine for the game, and if you were unaware, PES has been using the Fox engine. That's right, the same engine for like Metal Gear Solid for a while now. It looks like they will be changing over to Unreal Engine 5 as they roll into next generation. So PES isn't going anywhere, which is good news, but they will be leaving that Fox engine behind. And Konami has also said that this year might not be the biggest blowout for PES. It sounds like a lot of their resources are being moved to next generation at this point. So we're still trying to figure out what this newer PES is going to be for 2020 or PES 2021. We'll see, but most likely it might be a toned down version of it. There was even talks about maybe just being a straight roster update. However, Konami has said that there will be a standalone version of the game, but them moving to Unreal Engine might make development easier. It also might allow them to do other things with Fox Engine that maybe is geared more towards a Metal Gear Solid game overall. Do we really want to see another Metal Gear from Konami? I mean, I guess it's better than nothing, I think. Also, we have Game Pass games, of course, for July, and there was one that was thrown in there that I really liked and I wanted to point out to you guys. So here's the graphic that they put out with all of the different Game Pass games for July with an update. Now, on July 16th, so that would be today, they will be including Forager on console and PC, and then Mountain Blade Warband on console. Then on July 23rd, we'll have Carry On, that's console and PC, and then Golf with Your Friends just on PC. Grounded will hit Game Pass on July 28th, that's console and PC. Nowhere Profit, console and PC on July 30th. The Tourist, console and PC July 30th, and then Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is a big one that people are really hoping would show up maybe earlier in the month. No, that's going to be right at the end of July on July 30th, console and PC. While, of course, people are really excited for Yakuza Kiwami 2, The Tourist is a really cool game to see go to Game Pass, because, of course, that means that you would see, I guess, Shinin get some sort of payout for going to Game Pass, and I like what they've been able to do with their kind of style and their smaller file size. Of course, I played through The Tourist on the Switch, and I really, really liked it. So to see people maybe try it out just because it's there on Game Pass and they just hit a button and it downloads, I'm hoping more people try that one out. And I mean, Grounded is there as well. I'm not really sold on the idea of it, but it's on Game Pass, so it's Obsidian. I might as well try it out. And then, of course, Yakuza Kiwami 2 there right at the end of the month. So a pretty good back half of the month here for July if you have Game Pass. Oh, and here's something that kind of caught me off guard that popped up online. You can see this tweet here. This is from Robert, who went ahead and translated a tweet from the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles PR Twitter handle that said, "It's been confirmed that Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered does not offer offline/local multiplayer due to development reasons." And that is a shame. Is it unexpected, though? Not necessarily, I guess. See, of course, on the GameCube, I remember we had to use, link cables, and you'd have your own screen and all of this. I don't know, maybe they couldn't figure it out for local play, but it is a shame because it is a game where you would think you'd sit down on one TV even and play with a bunch of controllers, and they'd figure out how they could make that work. Now, they, of course, have been doing a lot of things to make it so that you can have a free account online, but Basically, what they're saying is you need your own system to play with friends, but they've done a lot. Cross-play all over the place. You could pick up your phone and use that even, but it is a shame that, let's say I have a Switch or PS4 on the TV and a friend or brother, sister, whoever comes over and like, hey, here's a controller to play with on the TV. You can't do that. That is a bit of a shame, but I'm still looking forward to it at the end of August. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. We've been talking about the Mario anniversary for a little while now. Mario's 35th anniversary, of course, this year. There's been a lot of build-up around it with different things. We just saw that NES system, of course, with the Mario that runs across the screen. You build it out of Legos. Big collaboration there with Nintendo and Lego pretty much throughout this year. We've, of course, saw Nintendo do a collaboration with Levi with the fairly expensive clothing line, right, with them. But it was all Mario themed, and a lot of people seem to really like those different items. Of course, the big theme park opening in Tokyo that was unfortunately had to be postponed and all that, but there was a lot of buildup for Mario this year, and we've been talking about that Mario collection for quite a while now. In fact, there is that rumor that next week on the 20th, there will be something, an announcement, a direct, a mini, something will apparently happen. But I am still looking at next week as just being a week where most likely we will get something along the lines of a Mario anniversary announced for a Mario anniversary collection, okay? And now we're starting to see some interesting, we'll say, evidence pop up online as people have started to spot an account on Twitter that appears to point to, yes, a Twitter handle for Mario 35th anniversary. And it goes even a little deeper than that as people started to figure out, because we talked about this with Fable and Perfect Dark, you can send an email, recovery email, and it will tell you somewhat what the email address is. It blocks out a lot of it, but you can see a few letters here and there, and it kind of spells out the idea of, okay, these appear to be Nintendo accounts for Splatoon and Smash, those Twitter handles. And then when matched up with this one, it has at least the same email address, but it's a little different, obviously, because you can't have the same email address for different Twitter accounts and all of that. But it does look like this would be something that would belong to Nintendo Japan. So that could be the Mario 35th anniversary Twitter handle that will basically work throughout this year to maybe show off the different things, including that Mario 35th anniversary collection that would include, supposedly, Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy. And then, of course, Mario 3D World Deluxe apparently is on the way, and I'm still curious when they're going to announce the Pikmin 3 port from the Wii U. There's also some other surprises, I'm sure, that could be in a Mario-themed Direct that I think would be awesome. And think about it this way, if they did a really cool collection, they could even do a special edition. Maybe they'll even do a Switch that's themed after Mario for the 35th anniversary. I think it's a big enough deal to do that as well, and yes, I'm sure plenty of people would rush in to pick that one up. So how likely is it that something will happen in the next week or so? I think fairly likely, and I think there's a chance that it would be a Mario-themed, I'm just going to say now, a Mario-themed Direct. Doesn't necessarily have to be live, could be something they just drop like a mini, and that would make the most sense if there really is one on the 20th on Monday, or who knows, maybe they just announce it an hour after Newswave goes up, because that's pretty much how it always happens. Next up, let's talk about the PlayStation 5 and the overall production numbers, I guess, that we can maybe expect going into the holidays. And by production numbers, I essentially mean stock. How many units we can expect to be out there, and, well, how easily it'll sell out, and then how hard it will be to find during the holidays. Because, yes, Sony's gonna launch basically in like the heart of the holidays, moving into December, so we assume November, somewhere in there. Again, a lot of people are thinking like the 20th even is possible, somewhere in there, right? So around Cyberpunk. But a lot of times these units will sell out, and then what happens? Well, they try to rush to restock, and a lot of times around holidays, they're just really hard to find. Resellers move in, sell them for twice the value. We've seen it every single time, but it seems that Sony is doing something a bit different now, as reported by Bloomberg and Nikkei, where they talk about how Sony has upped their overall orders for the PlayStation 5 from 6 million up to 9 million systems. That is a lot. They're looking to basically do half to start out with. So basically on launch day, going through November, they'll have it. And then to basically restock through December with an additional 4 million. That would be quite a bit of systems ready to go there in the first couple of months. And if they sell through most of those going into January, It'd be a pretty big release. Now, of course, they're also going to scatter these all over the world, and it's going to be a worldwide launch from what we're seeing. So it will be interesting to see how the PlayStation 5 does in some regions rather than others. And the other big thing here is, of course, they're going to have two different systems. They're going to have an all digital, and they're going to have one that runs on physical media with a Blu-ray disc. And that's going to be very difficult for Sony, I think, to predict which one sells better. Now, I think that there's a good chance that even though I would like one with a disc drive, there'll be quite a few people who maybe see a cheaper all-digital version as the more compelling option, especially if it's like $400 and $500. Sony might want to order more of those $400 systems that are all digital, the way pretty much gaming is trending, where we're seeing even Capcom talk about like 80% of their sales are all digital. Like, yeah, you're gonna probably make more of those $400 all digital systems overall. So it's at least good news to hear this. They're also talking about upping the amount of DualSense controllers from 10 million just to match what they're doing here. So that could be what we're looking like 14 million or so to kind of match what they're trying to push out with the overall PlayStation 5 consoles. I am happy to hear this, by the way, because I was getting some serious concerns that by the time holidays rolled around and we're rolling into like Christmas or whatnot towards the end of December, they would just be impossible to find, and you'd get $1,000 to $1,200 systems on eBay all day. Good to hear that Sony is at least planning this out, and it really shows how hyped the PlayStation 5 is currently. I mean, every time something goes out online about it, whether it's a small piece of news like the box art, it gets massive amounts of retweets, likes, shares, everything. So Sony could even be looking at that as saying, hey, there's a lot of people looking at these systems, and we want to make sure we have at least a chance at the holidays to have them in stock. Next up, let's talk about Paper Mario, because we did see the reviews release yesterday. So we have a fairly good idea as to how this game is going to play, and we did see some of the concerns that we've been bringing up, and it was brought up by a lot of people, but there were still some good things in there. Let's actually move over to Metacritic, where we can see its score here at an 81, which I was thinking it would probably be mid-80s, lower 80s on the low end, and that's apparently where it's sitting right now at that 81. There is a chance that based on some of the newer reviews that are coming in that are lower scores, it could fall into the upper 70s. I think it's going to stay right around there. It might even, I think, might even go up to like an 82. But looking at Paper Mario, from what we are seeing, yes, some of the issues that people have brought up has to do with the overall idea of trying to skip battles. Like that is so strange to create an awesome battle mechanic like that I do think is interesting from an RPG standpoint where we're used to random battles. That's at least very different so that it's memorable, I think. But like, you want to avoid them. It also sounds like if you become much more powerful than the enemies that are walking around in the world, you can just hit them with a hammer and they'll just, that's it. You just get the coins out of them. But the good things about it seem to be the writing, the visuals, which I will say, visually, I think the game looks really, really good. And it sounds like, I won't tell you exactly how long, it sounds like the game might be a little longer than people were anticipating, mostly because there is a lot of stuff to do in the game as you're going through it. Side quests, of course, things to find that are just hidden. And you saw those toads popping up. So at least there is a lot of stuff to do. The writing is good. The story's interesting kind of going through it. So I'm going to pick it up, play through it, and I think I'll have I'll say a good time, an enjoyable time, but I probably will look back on it and say it could have been like this much better if they had done a few things differently. But overall, I think it's an okay entry into the Paper Mario series from reviews. I just have to play it myself to find out a bit more. And in our last bit of news, I'm gonna hit you guys with probably one of the craziest physical editions for a game that I've ever seen. Now, we know, of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator, just talked about it the other day. It's coming out tomorrow. Looks interesting, I think, for the most part. I like the idea of kind of the ground level being so detailed, and of course, visually it looks like real, looks photorealistic just about. But what if you wanted it physically? Because from what I've seen, it's just a digital game that's being put out there. But it does appear that there will be a physical copy published in Europe. Check this thing out. That's right, it is 10 DVDs that you would buy. The idea here, because you might be a little confused, why aren't these Blu-rays? Well, Blu-ray players didn't really take off as well on PCs as they did on consoles, because PC gamers really moved to digital much faster. Like, think about it. When was the last time you bought a physical game on your PC? Especially if you're a big time PC gamer, you probably just went on Steam, bought it, let it download for a bit, and then played it. You didn't think about getting a disc and popping it in and installing it. that was like Windows XP stuff, okay? We're well past that, right? But if you are someone who wants 10 DVDs to install, that's right, Flight Simulator, you can get it. Now, these appear to be 10 dual-layer discs for DVDs, so apparently it adds up to roughly 90 gigabytes, and you can install the whole thing offline, and then you can go online, apparently, and get updates. It's just ridiculous. I saw it, I thought it was hilarious, and I'm sure there are some die-hard Microsoft Flight Simulator fans who are really interested in this, and hey, if you want it, you'll have to look into maybe importing it, I guess, from Europe, and then you'll have to double-check to make sure your computer actually has a disk drive on it. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Aaron, who says, the Walmart near me had Paper Mario in stock. I tried to buy it, but the lady was actually good at her job, so I couldn't buy it. So close too. So every time I've seen a game that's like early at Walmart, and this happens quite a bit, more than you'd think, it'll be in the case and you see it and you're like, oh, that game's not out for like 3 days. I'm gonna try to buy it. And you take it up to register and it's just register locked. Like it cannot go through. They can't get it through. I am curious, if you are someone who managed to make it happen and leave the store with the game after buying it with a receipt, how did it happen? Because like I've never seen this myself in person. I remember seeing the Pokeball Plus 2 days early, couldn't get it, right? I saw Battle Chasers Night War in the Walmart glass, like in the casing, before it was even announced for the Switch. It confused me because I was like, I don't think this is on the Switch. I think I put a picture on Twitter too, and I couldn't buy it. It wasn't even in their system. It was just sitting in their glass. It's really weird. So let me know if you managed to actually buy a game early from Walmart and how it happened, even a system, because Switch Lights were in Walmart early and people were actually buying them. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether there's this Mario 35th anniversary that's really been building up slowly throughout the year, but now it's really taking off. All kinds of stuff even getting announced. We have a new Monopoly game that got announced yesterday that's Mario themed, a Jenga set that's Mario themed. We see all the stuff with Lego, theme parks, clothing lines. It's all over the place, kind of like it's building up to that big video game for the holiday season. And we see his Twitter account. It's kind of coming together here, but let me know what you guys think about that one. And then the PlayStation 5 production seems to be ramping up, and Sony is even moving their orders up as well, aiming for 9 million. Are you hoping that you'll be able to pick one up ahead of the resellers, or are you kind of passing on it for the holiday to see how everything turns out, depending on the release games as well? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.